Hello, everyone. My name's Norm Dokis, and I work as president for Ganawandaagwad Institute, and we focus primarily on history of Dokis First Nation, but we do other history as well. And we'd like to put this on our YouTube channel and for everyone to see. And I would like to share just a little bit of information with you. And I'm coming today live to you. Well, it won't be live to you by the time you see this, but from the shores of beautiful Lake Nipissing. So these bottles, some of them late 1800s, early 1900s, up to maybe to the mid 1900s as well. These bottles were all collected at Doki's First Nation in in the bush in little dumps, and people back then they threw the garbage in the bush. There was no garbage dump, and um, it was a beautiful find. Sometimes you had to dig deep, like this one. I found this one really deep, and I'm really proud of this one as well. I had a larger bottle collection, but I summed it all down to these ones, and I'd like to speak to you a little bit about what these bottles represent and how interesting they could be. So this one is actually a baby bottle, and you have like the ounces here, and it's one of the pride of my collection. It has a nice poem here, and I'll read it to you. I had a little hobby horse, and it was a dapple gray. Its head was made of pea straw, its tail was made of hay. This one, and what you're looking for in old bottles is that bubble is in the glass, cork top, and an off-centered bottom, which really depicts its age. So those are really old ones. But this one is what we call a Mickey of a whiskey bottle. Since we're on the spirits, I'll show you this bottle. And this one's from Rotterdam, and it is a gin bottle. And they were made in this shape like this because when they carried them on the ship, they could stack them without the bottles cracking. So they took up less room, but also they had great strength when they shipped them over from Europe. And you could tell a lot about people, back then historically, what kind of diseases they may have, how much money they might have had. And this one's a French perfume, and it is J.F. Marceau. Some people said, Norm, you ever look for these companies? I do, and some of them still exist today. But there's a lot of historical information you can find out of that. So somebody, maybe your great grandmother or your grandmother, used this perfume at one time. This one here, my father actually remembers this one, and what he said was this came as a concentrate and grape juice. And just like today, we have Kool-Aid concentrates or whatever like that, it was heavily concentrated, and you would mix this with water. This is a beautiful bottle. Some of the bottles have got color in the glass, like this Scott's emulsion. Again, this was with cod liver oil with lime soda. And cod liver oil at the time was a well-used medicine for everybody. But to get this color in the glass, they would add certain minerals to them. Sometimes it would be mercury, which is poison we found out later. But different types of minerals they would add to the glass to get this beautiful color. This one is what I think is a small ketchup bottle, but there's that off-centered glass where you can see it was just cut. It doesn't say Heinz on the bottom, so we know it's old. And it has that shape of a ketchup bottle. This was a little more recent, but also interesting as well. And this is called Walker's Grape Juice. And so what I like about the interpretation value of this bottle is sometimes archaeologists will say, we find lots of arrowheads in this one area, And then off to the distance, we'll find a broken arrowhead. And what happens is someone's chipping it and they get angry and break it and they just fling it. Well, this one I associate with being a kid walking around the bush, really happily having their grape juice and just throwing it nonchalantly wherever it would land. Yeah, this one's a beer bottle from Pittsburgh, and this was found at Doki's First Nation again. But interesting, it was along the shoreline where somebody actually sat down, enjoyed a nice cold beer. But can you imagine from Pittsburgh all the way up to Doki's First Nation, how far that bottle must have traveled and being traded along the route? This one, what do you think it would be? Beautiful glass. It's got a large hole up here, so I associate that with being a pickle jar. Nice glass. You can see the bubbles in the glass. That means it's really old. There's 3-in-1 Oil. Is a very old company, and sometimes like this, you can still see that there's actually still product left in the bottle itself. And that was a company I actually remember too. I don't know if they're still in existence. This one, a beautiful bottle. I actually tried to research it, but I don't know what it was. It could have been a little medicine, or it could have been something perfume, because there's flowers there. Right here, nice little vines and little flowers, where I'm thinking it was more of a medicine. There's the sun here, and it's called the Rick Secker Company of New York. You got to say New York. This one is another favorite because where I was building a cabin on the lower French River, there was remnants there of a mom and pa operation of a sawmill, which I heard was a long time ago. Nobody knows who those people were. But this bottle comes from Sudbury, Ontario, and it was called Silver Foam Dry Ginger Ale. Of course, I want to serve it ice cold. Maybe I don't think I can bring back the empty these days now for a refund. Too long ago. And I think that's it. I think I've got them all. So thank you for listening to my little presentation on old bottles. I'm sure proud of them. And if you ever have any questions, or if you'd like to give us a thumbs up, or put your comments down below, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much.